The mesh pattern of a premium tour ball is the most expensive lie in your bag, but the real ripoff sits right next to it. 14 clubs gleaming in the morning sun, each one sold as the missing piece of your game. I want you to count them with me for a second, because only 3 of those clubs are actually worth your money. 3. I watched a man at my club hand over $2,200 for a full bag refresh last spring. Brand new driver, new irons, new wedges, a hybrid he'd never hit before. His handicap stayed exactly where it had been for the previous 4 years. The only change was the size of his monthly credit card statement. Here's what the industry never tells you. The rules of golf club design were frozen years ago, and that freeze created a ceiling on how much better a new club can possibly make you play. Everything after that ceiling is a marketing exercise designed to separate you from your retirement money. Your swing speed is what it is. Your body is what it is. The equipment needs to fit that reality, not the other way around. That's the forgotten principle most senior golfers miss. You don't need a better version of every club. You need the right version of 3 specific clubs, and everything else in your bag should be left alone until it physically falls apart. If you've ever stood at the pro shop counter with a receipt for a new driver in one hand and a nagging feeling in your chest, you know exactly what I'm talking about. My name doesn't matter. I've spent 15 years walking the books of golf retail, and I've seen the same pattern repeat 1,000 times. A golfer hits 60, starts losing a little distance, and panics. The industry loves that panic. It's the most reliable revenue stream in the game. The first club that actually deserves your money is the shaft in your driver, not the head. The head has been capped since 2008, when the governing body froze how much energy a club face can transfer to the ball. Every new driver since that year has been chasing performance gains that mostly don't exist. 2 to 3 extra yards for $650. That's the real math. That 2 to 3 yard gain for $650? That's dead money. Pure marketing tax on your golf bag. Subscribe now if you're ready to stop paying it, because on this channel, we expose where the real value hides. In the comments, type dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. But the shaft? That's a different story entirely. The shaft is where the feel lives, where the weight distribution changes your entire swing path, where your tempo either finds a rhythm or keeps fighting itself. A correct shaft profile, fitted to your actual swing speed and transition, can add real distance for seniors. Not 2 yards, not 3. We're talking about meaningful numbers that show up on the scorecard. And here's the kicker. A quality shaft costs anywhere from $80 to $150. The same money that buys a fraction of one new driver head buys you a complete transformation of the club you already own. The head you have is fine. The head has been fine for years. It's the stick connecting it to your hands that's been working against you. If you've ever bought a new driver and felt the hope fade by the 3rd hole, the problem wasn't the club head. The problem was the shaft, and nobody at the store had any interest in telling you that. They make a much healthier margin on the full new driver than they do on a shaft upgrade for the one you already own. The second club that matters is your 7-iron, but not because you need a new one. You need to fix the one you have. This is where the industry gets really clever, because they've quietly changed the meaning of the numbers stamped on your irons. A modern 7-iron has the same loft that a 5-iron had 30 years ago. The manufacturers strengthened every loft across the set, so the clubs play longer and look better on paper. For a senior golfer, that stronger loft is a problem. You need height to stop the ball on the green. You need spin to hold the approach shot. When your 7-iron launches the ball lower and hotter than it should, the ball rolls off the back of the green instead of biting next to the pin. That's not a swing flaw. That's an equipment flaw, engineered by people who profit when you think you're hitting it wrong. The fix costs $40 to $60. A good club fitter bends your existing 7-iron back to the correct loft and lie angle, tailored to your swing. That's it. Same club, same shaft, same grip. Just the geometry corrected. And the difference on your approach shots is the difference between adding strokes and saving them. I've seen fitting carts full of brand new iron sets, $1,400 of gleaming metal, and the golfer's issue was never the metal. The issue was that his clubs hadn't been bent to fit him in years. Loft and lie is maintenance, not a purchase. But the industry can't sell you maintenance. They can only sell you a new set. The third club that matters is your wedges, specifically the grooves. This is the one most seniors waste the most money on because they do the opposite of what I'm about to tell you. Grooves wear out after about 75 to 100 rounds of golf. When those grooves go, the ball stops spinning, and your short game starts leaking strokes you can't afford to lose at your age. The truth is, a wedge with worn grooves isn't dead. It's just been starved of maintenance. Subscribe and you'll see every cost-cutting blueprint we uncover, from iron lofts to membership traps. In the comments, write dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The dead money golf. Ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. Here's what they don't want you to know. You don't always need a new wedge. You need your grooves sharpened and your bounce angle checked. A regrooving service costs around $15 per wedge. A bounce fitting ensures the sole of the club interacts with the turf correctly for your swing path. Together, that's maybe $60 to $70 for all 3 of your wedges. A full new wedge costs $180 to $200 each. 3 of them, $600 for the same spin you could have restored for a fraction of that. And the worn grooves were the only problem you had. The heads, the shafts, the grips, all of it was still serving you fine. The industry just knows you'll buy new before you'll maintain old. Now I want you to notice what's not on this list. No new driver head, no putter, no fairway woods, no hybrid, no new set of irons. These are the purchases the industry pushes hardest at seniors, and they deliver the least return for your specific situation. Your wallet isn't the problem. Your instincts are fine. You're just being sold a story that doesn't match your swing. The putter is the one that surprises most people. It's the most personal club in the bag, and feel is everything. A senior player who has used the same putter for 20 years has groove memory in that flat stick that no new technology can replace. Changing it to fix a scoring problem is usually a mistake. You're not missing putts because of the putter. You're missing putts because of your reads or your speed. And no new head shape fixes that. Fairway woods deserve their own warning. They're sold as the senior's best friend, the club that rescues you from the low fairway bunker or the awkward lie. But watch a Saturday foursome and count how many times the 3-wood actually gets pulled from the bag. Most players under 90 can't hit it consistently enough to justify the space it takes up. The hybrid, on the other hand, is the club that should replace the long irons you no longer have the speed to launch. But here's the trap. The industry will happily sell you a hybrid and a 3-wood and a 5-wood and new long irons. That's 4 clubs solving one problem. You own the problem once. You don't need to buy its solution 4 times, so when you add up the actual savings, the numbers get interesting. 1 shaft fitting, 1 loft, and lie correction, 1 groove service on 3 wedges. That's roughly $200 to $250 total, depending on where you go. Compare that to the $2,200 full bag Refresh My Club member bought in the spring. The spare $2,000 buys something more valuable than distance. It buys a season of green fees. It buys a dozen premium balls without the sting. It buys the quiet satisfaction of walking off the course knowing you didn't get played. That's the real win, and it's the one the industry never mentions in its advertisements. Let's be honest about what a senior swing actually needs. It needs launch height on the approach, spin around the greens, and a driver shaft that keeps up with your tempo. 3 things. Every other club in the bag is a supporting actor that should stay exactly where it is until it breaks. The marketing machine sells you a whole cast, but you only need the 3 leads. I think about that man at my club, standing in the pro shop, credit card in hand. Nobody told him his driver shaft was 7 years old and playing stiff when his tempo had softened. Nobody mentioned his 7-iron was upright and 3 degrees stronger than the club he grew up playing. Nobody checked the grooves on his wedges, worn smooth from 100 rounds of hitting out of pot bunkers and sandy lies. That man with the worn wedges and too stiff shaft didn't need a full bag reset. He needed exactly 3 adjustments. If you're tired of being sold a solution you already own, subscribe and you'll see every hidden cost exposed. In the comments, write dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. The system works because it's quiet. No one forces you to buy. The clubs just sit there, gleaming under the pro shop lights, each one whispering that this time will be different. And every golfer who has ever stood in that glow knows the feeling. That little flutter of hope that a new piece of equipment might finally be the missing piece of the puzzle. But the puzzle was never missing a piece. The puzzle was missing a fit. Your clubs don't need to be replaced. They need to be understood. 1 shaft, 1 lie angle, 3 sets of sharpened grooves. That's the whole secret, and it's been sitting in your bag the entire time, waiting for someone to ask the right questions about it. The money you save isn't a number on a spreadsheet. It's the difference between feeling guilty every time you open the trunk and feeling proud of every round you play. It's the difference between being the member who chases every new release and being the one who quietly shoots better scores than the guys with the full tour bags. You can't buy your way past the ceiling, but you can fit your way through it. The real joy isn't in the new club, it's in the first time you hit your old driver with the right shaft and the ball launches high instead of ballooning. It's the 7-iron that finally stops and bites like it used to. It's the wedge that checks up a foot from the hole and leaves a tap-in instead of trickling off the green. That's the forgotten principle, and it's the one worth keeping. The industry will always have a new release waiting, a new headline, a new story about why you're falling behind. None of it changes the physics of your own swing. None of it changes what your body can actually deliver. But the right 3 fixes, fitted to the body you have right now, change how the game feels every single time you play. The smartest golfer at the club isn't the one with the newest bag. It's the one who knows what his equipment is doing, who can tell you exactly why each club is in the bag, and who spends his money on the things that actually move the needle. That golfer walks off the course with something the marketing machine can't sell. A real sense of control over the game, and over the money it costs to play it. That's a win no launch monitor can measure, and no pro shop can take away from you.